What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the episode of Waay Shak. This is a Zoom call, a special collab episode. I am Shak. I am your host. I am accompanied by my brother, T Mayo, Protect Yours podcast. Tell him what's up, man. Tell him what's up.
What's going on, y'all?
You
My
been?
name is Mayo. Host of the Protect Yours podcast. Is my little
Mm-hmm.
logo here. I got little stamps on here.
Hey, sick.
Yeah,
That's
bro. It's
lit.
like, bro. Yeah. I mean, this is just my little stuff I be putting on my shirts and stuff and my hoodies. So I
Okay.
got. But
Show the
yeah,
top one. Hey,
yeah, bro. Do what you can, man. Come on.
you got a merch
But
website?
say what?
You got a merch website? I'm curious.
I, I don't at the moment, but it
Yeah,
is in the all that shit's in the works right now.
but
I had
you
mad
got.
guests come by and ask about like merch and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I've always just kind of been stunned because it was just like, I mean, I got you, but let me take your order type shit,
You figure
So
out logistics, homie. That should cost.
yeah, it
I
does.
know. I know. People ask for Chaos Pod merch. I'm just like, you got
Right,
Chaos
right.
Pod merch money? Nah. So you got the Protect Yours Pod official. And so let me just talk about myself a little bit. So I'm a host for two podcasts, right?
Mhm.
Chaos Pond and we have Shaq. Now, Chaos Pond initially was combined with both, and Slow Burn with Shaq was a segment I did in Chaos Pond, but I moved it over to Way of Shaq, so it's its own podcast. But I host both, I co-host whatever. Chaos Pond was with Trav. Um, but it was formed in July of this year, and I guess the whole idea is to just kind of entertain, put your voice out there, and if you can, inspire somebody of the same age, right? And Way of Shaq is more serious and it's more relatable, it's more personable, but I like talking. Public speaking is my thing. I've been doing it for a while, and so that's kind of why I pod. I just want to throw it in there, but yeah, two podcasts.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, for myself, man, I just definitely create the Protect Yours podcast for. I mean, it's multiple fold. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in my life,
mm,
and I felt like at the end of the day, I was just opening myself a little bit too much, and I wasn't protecting myself essentially. So I made this pod to, in a way, like create my own type of environment and create,
and
just
that's what you
just
got to do. That's what you got to do.
yeah,
As
create
a
just a
grown man in America, you got to push your own narrative. That's how you make the bag.
exactly,
I
man. So I'm
respect it, bro.
just trying to sit back and just be real
Yeah,
and be a better man, be a better person, work
that's it.
on things I really work on, and protect yours pod has really helped me, honestly.
Now I want to ask you something. Do you believe that you are a introspective person?
I do, in
Somebody
a
who
way.
can someone you do? Okay, now do you think you're a ruthless introspective? There's a difference.
Explain.
A ruthless introspective is somebody who is consistently pointing out the flaws in themselves to get better. Somebody who is always asking the question
Mm.
of why,
Mm-hmm.
right? Willing
Yeah.
to learn and grow. An introspective is somebody who just looks in. A ruthless is like an evolving type of person. And I think you are because you made a podcast. You talk on a podcast. You inquire about people. And that's what I was so surprised. I was like, damn, my guy really got a podcast. I was like, this is so filthy, bro. And then I see somebody else my age made a podcast. I was like, this is taking off, bro. But am I wrong? Are
No, you're
you?
not wrong, bro.
That's what's
You're
up.
not wrong because, like,
I knew I raised you, right?
man, shut up with all that. But no, you ain't wrong though, because like at the end of the day, the main reason why I wanted to do it is because like I was looking back at myself and was just like, dog, like there's so much stuff that I could work on individually, and there's so much stuff that I could learn from all the other people that interact with me.
hmm
Like just who are working in my field and
Yeah.
working in like videography and like photography and stuff, and that's essentially what I want to
Yeah.
back my career on. So I was just looking back at it, just like, damn, let me go ahead and just start picking people's brains and like creating an environment where people could really just feel comfortable. And that's really where it was born, bro. I was like, I just don't.
That's dope. That's
I'm
dope.
not sitting here trying to, play a role or do this just for money or nothing. I'm genuinely doing it because
Podcasting does not make money.
man, not at all, bro. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna tell
keep it
y'all
real.
right now, viewer, podcast does not make money. Don't do this shit for money. Nor
Don't
does
do this
YouTube
for money.
unless you're popping off. or
Oh
music,
yeah,
anything.
or Joe Rogan. You could be Joe Rogan,
Right.
and even
Still be
then,
broke.
that 1,500 episodes to get to where he's at. So
That dude
that's
is
why,
killing it. Shout out Joe
yeah,
Rogan.
he's a beast, bro. He's a beast for real.
Yeah. So a little backstory. Uh, I actually know T Mail. This is my boy, right? We went to the same church way back in the day. You knew
Way
my
back.
sister, my brother. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? I knew his aunt, his family, whatever. Um, but if anybody, shout out Damascus, all right? If anybody from Damascus is watching, you know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out
Mm-hmm.
to y'all.
For real, for real.
And it's just crazy how the time really flew by. Honestly, it really did. It got away.
Oh
But
yeah.
anyways, check out our socials. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at King Vlim, and yeah, you can just find me there.
Mm-hmm. And
You
if you
got
want to check
socials?
me out, if you want to check me out, it's Thomas Email Jr. on Instagram, and then I have the Protect Yours Pod official on
Mhm.
Instagram as well, and that's the official page for my podcast.
So before the podcast even begins, y'all head over there, follow,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
look at the content, subscribe, whatever, what
Yeah,
have you.
show love, man.
Easy. Uh, so we kind of covered. I guess we kind of covered what I wanted to really get into is why pod. I wanted to talk a little bit about. I don't know. Public speaking has always kind of enticed me. When I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, I was. I'm pretty sure you kind of remember. Like in the church, I was just like shy. I was reserved. I was a middle child, obviously, so I didn't really speak up too much. But I think it was when. Do you remember the North Pacific Baptist Convention? Do you remember that? It was
That
like a
sounds yeah.
yeah, it was a contest that like boys whatever would go to and compete. And then there was two parts. There was the oratory, and then there was like the Bible Bowl and stuff. Excuse me, I'm only doing one take. And I was in oratory, and that's really why I learned to like speak and like speak confidently and from a place
Mm-hmm.
of knowledge. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really where it took off. But I don't know. I just wanted to add it in there as kind of like why pod. I really just enjoy speaking, and like I did rap and stuff in high school and all that stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but but I believe that like everyone should have a pod. I mean, not everyone should have a podcast, but everyone should be able to use their voice. Everyone should feel confident enough to talk as we're talking, right?
Yeah,
Publicly,
most definitely.
confidently, honestly, and it's the First Amendment. Like, come on now.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with you, man, because like I feel like everybody has a voice for a reason. You know, you gotta let everybody know like what you really on, what you're really about, you know, and how
Yeah,
you trying to, better yourself. And if you, in my opinion, like if you're afraid to actually speak on certain things, then like you're hurting yourself in the long run, you know. So that's why I opened my platform to be like a place where,
people
you
can
know,
get their shit off, right? Use
get
that,
your shit off, say what you gotta say. It don't matter.
pick
Do
their
what you gotta
voice,
do.
get
It's
comfortable with it.
exactly, man.
Hmm. Same
Exactly.
thing. Same thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
dope. So fuck, dude. Our probably I think we're doing the same shit, bro. We fighting the same battle out here.
No, for sure, man. Because
Trying
like
to get the
a lot of this has been mental for me, bro, and it's
what you
helping me
mean?
mentally.
What you mean by that?
I
Like the
mean, like,
whole just like sphere of podcasting, or
yeah, man. Like, to be honest with you, like, obviously, you have growing pains and you have things that you learn throughout, any process. But like when I first started this, I definitely didn't see myself even getting to the point where I'd be collabing with people to
that's
the point
facts.
where I'm getting to 10, 11 episodes, man. Like, and now
Hmm.
I got people hitting me up asking to be on
Be
and
on the show.
be on the show. And it's just like, I'm grateful. And it's just like, man, what
I literally just got off
I
the
was
phone
saying,
with homeboy, and he was, bro. I was just telling him, I was like, bro, I literally have like three people. I got one dude who makes music, another guy who he's kind of illegal. He does illegal shit, but he wanted to be featured. I was like, I can't just have all these niggas on my.
mm-hmm.
But it's crazy because like people want it. Just shows that people want to speak, bro. People want to use
Yeah.
their voice. They just don't really know how to. And if you give them a topic and a structure and somewhere to sit down and talk, chilling.
Mm-hmm. No, for
That's
sure.
dope, bro. That's
For
dope.
sure.
I'm
And
actually,
it's funny because like, I had one guest come by and she was very
the last
adamant.
episode.
No, it wasn't the last episode, but it was one of my first few. It was like one of the first 5 episodes. But like, she was very, very adamant about the fact that like, like, oh well, you make for some reason you make people feel special. Like inviting people and getting people over here and shit like that. Like
That's how
it
you gotta
really
do it.
gets people feeling well when they talk about themselves, and
Yes.
just in general, like knowing that they have a voice.
And that is the
Everybody.
goal.
Mm-hmm.
That is the goal.
Absolutely.
Especially now, to be honest with you. Like a lot of people from my observation that are quarantined from COVID, they've been in their house for X amount of months, they kind of lose manners, but then they gain passion, right? People are they stuck inside, they get in their creative bag,
Yeah.
and then the political scene happens. They have a lot to say, but they don't know how to really say it. Like you can kind of tell the people who really just been in their house the whole time and the people who really just been coming and going. Like you can kind of
Mm-hmm.
differentiate the people based on those like their social interactions. And some people like some of them cats they just rude, but like they passionate. And I was just like, yeah, like I don't know.
I mean,
But
like the simplest way I could put it, bro, is just like I seen a video, and it was basically saying like how this quarantine it really should change everybody's life, bro. Like
yeah, like a lot
it's
of
not
people,
it's not
myself
just.
included. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, definitely. But it's not just like financially. It's not just within the economy or anything like that. But like you should really be looking at yourself and trying to be like, okay, so if I'm in this position now and I'm not happy about this position,
How do you change that?
what am I gonna do to make better choices in the future? What am I gonna do to make sure I'm happy? And my guy Dave Chappelle said like he was basically saying like a lot of people are just living with their choices now,
Yep.
and like when
Yep.
you're locked in, locked down with in the house, and with all your decisions that you got going on, like
Hmm.
you are really locked up with your mind and your decisions. So it's really exploiting a lot of things and making people realize a lot of stuff for the good and the bad.
Yeah, and I think that's that's probably why some people are where they are. They're facing those demons, those things that have been locked away. Yeah, myself included, man. I went through it too. I faced a lot. Shit, I want to go into it, but I'll just say this: it was hard. You know what I'm saying? I'll just say, I'm grateful in the Thanksgiving spirit. I'll say I'm grateful for having a place. I'm grateful for having a job because it wasn't like that. The summer was
Yeah,
tough, but yeah, man, COVID.
it really changed a lot of people's lives, bro. And like the right people are really emerging. Like there are a lot of people. Like I read an article, and the article said that they're out of this, pandemic or whatever you
Hmm.
want to call it. There's going to be a whole bunch of new people on top, man,
That's
and there's going to
facts.
be a whole bunch of new things that are going to be trends that
The order is
we're
being rearranged.
yeah, man.
Yeah, things are shifting. Yeah, I've been
Mhm.
hearing shit about that.
Mhm.
It's like in general, in mass, like the world is just shifting. Yeah,
Yeah, most definitely. It's just wild, man.
it is wild. I, I tell you what.
What?
Hey, so I wanted to ask you, when did you start listening to podcasts? Because my answer is probably going to surprise you. I wanted to talk about this. 'Cause I was just thinking about it.
Sure. I started listening to pop. Like I've always found myself listening to people speak, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been something like I always went on YouTube for, and I never was the one that listened to like yeah, I listen to music and stuff like that, but like I
Hmm.
like seeing different perspectives and hearing different perspectives. So
Like TED Talks and TED Ed and stuff like that.
just
That's
random
shit I
stuff,
fuck
man.
with. Yeah.
Just random stuff. It don't even matter. Like when
But
it
what
like
would you say when you first started listening to podcasts? Like what year? Do you remember?
I don't necessarily remember because it's been a long time, bro. I'm gonna be real. Like
I
I've
started
always
this year or like
you
the end
started
of last
this
year.
year.
Yep. And
Oh
I was
wow.
so inspired. I was like, bro, this shit is so filthy. I was like, this is just spoken word on the radio. But yeah.
Basically, yeah. Basically. That's what's up though. So like
Yeah.
you got inspired by just like do you have like a favorite podcaster or like who you listen to up top? Like
I started off. There's one female. Okay, so I went to Job Corps and I met this female, and she told me about Joe Rogan, and I just kind of was like, all right, cool, and I just put it off, and then I finally peeped it, like November ish, and I was like, bro, this is such a dope like format. I was like, but it's so simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite podcasters right now is probably the Need to Know podcast, Joe Budden podcast. Joe Budden's kind of he's kind of chatty though, like he's kind of gossipy, but I mean he does his
Yeah.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Michelle Obama podcast. I fuck with a lot, but yeah, bro. The passion didn't really take off till this year, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just make a podcast. Happen in
Mm-hmm.
July. Boom.
No, I definitely feel that, bro, because I was it's kind of odd how we on the same type of deal, bro, because I was just like, bro, I like speaking, I like learning, and I like
Yeah,
picking brains and shit like
yeah.
that. So like that shit to me was just so amazing to know that people want to be involved with something so simple, like you were just mentioning. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not the hardest platform. It's not
It's not.
like anybody can do it. You know,
Yep.
you just like anything else in the world, you just gotta sit down and put the work in.
I
And
would
like,
say. I would say my bad. The
mm-hmm,
hardest part about podding though sometimes if you're solo carrying a podcast or even if you're not, if you're co-hosting or whatever, sometimes it's really hard to create like solid content, consistent stuff, fresh ideas. That's probably about the only real hard part about it, but I agree with you, man. It's crazy and it's exploding. Like the podcast market, I think today there's like almost a million or something podcasts. I was like, that is just it's crazy. The thing I think about though is not how many there are and how much is taken off. It's who's going to last, right? Which podcasts are going to be the ones that are going to be on top, right? The ones that are going to be the next Joe Buddens, next Joe Rogans, because they're
mm-hmm,
not going to be there forever. That's what I
mm-hmm,
think about. And I'm like, so I started thinking about myself internally, like, what do I really want my message, you know what I'm saying, for the world to be? And I have my vision, but I want it to be conveyed throughout the podcast. But like, I, that's one thing I always think about, you know, and I
yeah, most
worry
definitely.
because I've talked to some people who quit their jobs, want to become creatives, and then they start with podcasts, and I'm just like, it's not it, you know.
Not
It's
at
really,
all.
yeah,
I mean, like that's definitely something that I've been dealing with as well, because like I definitely wanted to make it a career, but
yeah,
like in all
longevity.
honesty, like it's not something that you could jump into and just make a career, because you're not gonna
Hmm.
be making money from it. You're gonna be sitting here talking. You're gonna be sitting here networking a
Yep.
lot.
You're
You
gonna
know,
be bored. It's not gonna be
you're gonna
interesting.
be bored.
Hmm.
Yeah, you just gotta be able to be a
Gotta come in
creative.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Damn. Who would have thought,
It,
man? Who would have
it's
thought?
just crazy how similar like the mindset is behind it, though. Because
You
a
know what I
lot of
think it
people.
is? You know what I think it is?
Mm,
We went to the same church.
hmm. So how much of an
I'm just
effect?
throwing, just throwing shit out there, huh?
No, but how much of an effect do you really think that really had longevity wise, though?
I mean, if
Because
I'm being real though, if I'm like looking at it though, we were exposed to the same type of sermons, the same people, the same word, the same consistency. Um, and I don't know, just generally pointed in the same direction. I don't know if we live
no,
the same type of life, but I'd say that does in a religion aspect that does kind of guide you in a certain way, right?
mm,
So I don't know.
no, definitely,
I was
most
just, hey,
definitely.
I was just pissing in the pot on that. I was just,
I mean, shit, bro. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I've been getting a lot closer with my religion as well, but not necessarily religion
Mm,
in particular, but just like my relationship with God, I guess. So
yes.
how much of an effect does that have on you in long term? Like how have you been getting closer, or have you just been rolling with the punches in a way?
For a while, I was just rolling with the punches. I
Mm-hmm.
think about, I actually wanted to talk about this, but I didn't really know how I was going to do this because I was going to make an episode about this religious stuff, but it's kind of touchy for me. So, like, late senior year of high school is when I started really questioning the Bible, and it became evident
Mm-hmm.
to like Miss Moore. Do you remember Miss Moore?
Mm-hmm.
Because she taught the high school. It became evident to her and like the other like teachers that like I was questioning a lot, and so I started to kind of move away. And then I just kind of thought of myself as non-religious and spiritual, and I still do today. But as of late, I think I've been kind of just asking more of the Bible questions.
Mm.
What what would
Like the
Jesus
one
do?
thing
You
I
know,
would get.
what does the scripture say? And like
Mm,
just going back, because like I was baptized in that church at a young age. Like I'm from Christianity. I should be there right now. And so
mhm,
it's just a matter of me wanting to, but I think in the grand scheme, like your relationship with God and your closeness to religion affects your, I don't know, like how you make moral decisions in life.
mm.
Um, and I'd say that that definitely has impacted me, and it still is. But it's a spiritual journey, and that's what Way at Shaq really is. But I could talk about that for a while. But that's yeah, that's a
No,
whole
I
subject.
I definitely feel you because the reason I ask is because I'm not super religious or anything like that. I'm
Mhm.
not the one to be like, oh God, this, God, that, or anything. But like, I'm definitely starting to not like I'm definitely questioning things more. You know, more
Yep.
on the like level of like where I really need to figure out why these things are happening. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it always falls back to the same thing with me because like God has always popped up in my life somehow, some way. So
Mhm.
it's just odd how like when I don't personally try to get it going, like personally try to study the scripture, study the word, or study whatever, it still pops up, you know, and it's just like he's still there. And it's just and one thing I really want to say about that is just like it's all personal and everybody has a it's
That's true.
and that's why never really was a
Yeah.
fan of church or anything like that because it was more like a way like these people were trying to mold you into a way, you know,
Yes.
when it's
That's how
more
I
so
felt, man. Yes. That I think that's really what it was for me. It's feel like it felt like I was being cornered. Like I know that's wrong to say, and religion is there to unite people, but nah, I feel you on that. G. Like, nah, it's the same shit all the way.
but overall like that's a lot of the same feelings people feel with religion in general too, you know, like and that's what the same thing that brings people together with that is the same thing that pushes people away, and
Yeah.
that's always found interesting because it was just like if this is really what is supposed to bring us all together, if this is really what people are really on,
Hmm.
what people really feel like people should be doing in their life, then why is it so divisive at the same time, you know?
It's
And
because, and I was talking about this in the episode of Way of Shaq. It's belief is a choice. It's what you
mm-hmm,
choose to like walk in, and like when I was, I feel like that shit starts at a young age too. Like when I was a kid, I did not like whenever the choir would get litty, I wouldn't get
mm-hmm,
litty either. And I'd look around, I'd be like, why am I not feeling this? And it's like, if it wasn't hitting it, it's not gonna hit later. But it's a
mm-hmm,
choice, man. You choose to walk in a certain path, a belief. That's how you're gonna live. That's it.
mm-hmm.
Like that's really all it is. And that's one thing I think I really realized over COVID, like being quarantined and everything that's been happening. Like you believe what you choose to believe, and whatever you speak, whatever you think becomes like it's not a game. Words are spells. Like that shit is it's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's all
another
belief,
thing
man.
too. That's another thing I want to touch on too, though,
Mm.
because like, the power of words. You feel me? Like, and like excluding religion, excluding everything, like besides like as far as God and stuff like that, just in general, bro. Like the power of words and how much
Hmm.
you know you could just say things and how much they'll affect your everyday life or affect your mindset. You know?
On a like magnitudes on a
Yeah,
big
like
ass
seriously.
scale.
In ways that you don't even realize, you know, because
Hmm.
I would always struggle with thinking negatively, you know, and I always struggle with just trying to figure out the right way, always feeling like I was just not doing things right. But like overall, like
You weren't alone in this, brother. You are not alone. I'm telling you what, people our age go through that shit every day. You're not alone. I felt like that too, but I felt alone on it. But it helped to see other people going through a similar struggle. But I feel you.
most definitely,
I'll
bro.
throw that in
But
there.
like it's just interesting to me because people handle it differently, you know,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
and and the way that just like as long as you know exactly what you want, know what you want, and you
Mhm.
see the vision in your mind, and you keep working towards that, then everything should be fine. And
Yes.
that's exactly what should remind you to keep pushing. That's like, and that's why I wanted to keep doing this because every
I'm
day is a
so
new.
glad. I'm so glad because I saw you take the hiatus. I was like, "Fuck, is he coming back?" That's
Yeah,
good. You gotta fight it. Those downs, man, they're tough, but they show you things
most
and they
definitely.
help you high. Stay on the highs a little bit longer. But you said something earlier I was gonna touch on, and it slipped my mind again. Damn, that's okay. Oh, the power of words. Words are literally spells.
Most definitely.
I'm looking right at you, viewer. Words are spells. How you say things when you say them, and what you say, and what language you say them in, and what tone and frequency. Because check this. Look, 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 look. Because sound is light at a lower frequency, right? And light is sound at a higher frequency because it moves faster. And there's this law, right? The law of conservation of matter. They say that no new matter enters in this world, this realm. It's all just transferred to a new form. So when you speak, you're speaking light. Think about that at a lower frequency that already existed.
Oh my God.
Hey, way of Shaq. Hey, we out here.
We out here.
Subscribe
That
to my
was
YouTube, Way of Shaq. I'm on Spotify.
but no,
uh,
all about the power that you put into the world, man. And
yes,
that's really what I'm
manifest.
trying to correct within me, bro. Because like I noticed how much negativity and just everything that I was putting in that I definitely didn't condone within my own interactions with people,
Hmm.
So I'm really trying to change that, and that's why I'm grateful for it. Like, because when I went to Cali to go back home or whatever, like
Yeah,
I was around my family and around my sisters, and like that really opened my eyes to see like the better things in life, and like
that's
that's why
good.
I know the importance of family is
Shout out,
just
fam.
so big. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
them because
If it means that much to you, for some people it doesn't. It doesn't mean that much. But if it means that
and that,
much, it's huge. Yes.
that's very interesting because to me, man, like I and it was one of those things I didn't know,
Hmm.
like and there's so many things in life that you think on that you don't actively act on. And like that was one of the things for me. I didn't actively act on being a brother for my sisters. I didn't act
Mm.
on being there. I just knew they were there. But now I'm
Hmm.
just sitting here thinking like the importance of that, the importance of them really, really, really just like shine the spotlight on it because like just being around them, how open, ready, and loving they were, that just really made me think like that's the type of shit I want to be about and be around, and
Yeah,
even
I
if it's
feel
not
that.
within years, like the type of people I want around me got to be like on that same level because that's love, man. That's
It's
really
positive
love.
energy. That's it. Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel you. I've been thinking about that too, but I've been thinking more like creating my own. Create your own
Mm-hmm.
family, your own
Oh yeah.
sphere. But like blood is important. But for some people, that can I know a lot of people can relate to this. Blood is not always everything, right? But I feel you. I feel you. I think I think just relationships in general matter. And when you get older, you start to realize like it's less about material things and what you want to do. It's more
Mm-hmm.
about your connection with others. And I think that's what you're just saying, really.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of aged a little bit. You kind of self-reflected a little bit. You kind of changed your ways, I guess. I think a lot of people did, but that's one thing I realized, lately is is relationships.
Oh,
Um,
most definitely.
and for those of y'all that are going through not the best, times with your family, it'll get better. Time is the master healer of all wounds. And I want to just touch on this real quick because it was shocking, and I'm thinking about it for a while. But I think in this year alone, the domestic violence cases that are documented quadrupled in the past decade, or since the past decade or something. And that's because you go home, you quarantine, you got to be stuck with your family, and then boom, tensions escalate. So I know it's not the best for everyone. And this was in King County. I forgot where I saw. I think it was like Como for News. This was like maybe a month ago or 2 months
Mm-hmm.
ago, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. And I've been hearing about other things too, and I was just like, yeah, I can see it. So not every family is the best, and I know everyone who listens to this podcast family isn't the best. So I'm telling you, it will get better.
It definitely will. It definitely will.
It
And the
will
thing
get
that you
better.
got to take
Yes.
away from that is, I mean, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, bro. Like people are locked in with their decisions,
Yep.
like, and like if you decided before
People are
this
living.
quarantine that you were just kicking it, popping it, doing whatever, you obviously see now that that shit right now is not gonna last you.
It's not
If
get that Rona.
before quarantine you were sitting here trying to stack up your chips, trying to get around in a nice house or whatever, just like
Mm-hmm.
just for example, then
Mm-hmm.
that's showing itself as well, So there's like so many things that are just obvious, and that's why I'm trying to like make amends to a lot of things and just be real with myself and realize how I affect people and all
Yep.
that other shit too. Because, like I said, I'm living my decisions, So
Yep.
I
It's part
gotta
of being a
face it.
man. It's part of
Gotta
being
be a
a
man.
woman. Take
Exactly.
responsibility. Yeah. And once you
Mm-hmm.
do that, you align yourself in a way where you can shoot. You can take off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of you, man. I
I
was kind of
appreciate
worried. I was kind of worried for you. I'm not gonna lie. Because when you left California, we lost contact. I was like, fuck. But you seem like you got your head on straight, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, hey, bro, like, and same energy goes back, bro. Like, I'm proud of you as well because, I know we are all not, we all have our own demons
Yep.
and we all have shit that we're battling, So it's
Real
just
talk.
good that you can sit here and talk, have a podcast, have a
Hey,
platform that shows, that like, yo, like we trying and we working and
nigga,
it's
I'm
all it's,
still trying. Fuck you mean? I'm hungry. I'm going for the
yeah,
bag,
I'm
nigga.
about
What
to
you?
get some
I'm about to be a
food.
millionaire. Hey, I'm looking for the sponsorships. Apple. I'm looking for
I need
Spotify. I'm
every
looking for the sponsorship.
I need everything.
I need it
I'm here
all,
for
man. I need it all.
work. I'm working. I'm working for it.
Yes.
Man.
All right. So I guess last thing we could talk about. I don't know how long this has been how long has this been running? Quite a bit. I think this will be the last topic. If you see the way I don't know. The political scene. So Biden versus Trump and the whole like post like election debacle. Did you follow it?
Yeah, I love politics, so I was all up in it.
Mm.
I was paying attention. I was
Mm-hmm.
watching the election day by day, watching the state votes and all that shit, watching the electoral colleges,
Mm-hmm.
House of Representatives, the Congress, all that shit, bro. I look like I just me personally, I took a different awareness, a different initiative to be actually sit back and realize what the hell is going on around me. So
Yeah.
that's really, and to be real, bro, which I think a lot of people could relate to. Like it didn't for me when I was in high school. I was involved, and I wanted to know, but like I didn't have the amount of like questioning I did now.
Yep.
So I didn't get involved as much as I wanted to. But now I took
Same.
everything that I wanted to know and then just did my research and read up and figured out what's good and what's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And just working towards something, just being more knowledgeable, bro.
Yeah. That's it. That the introspection, bro. Hey. So
Hmm.
are you comfortable disclosing which side you lean? Are you more left, more right? Do you want to talk about your voting? Did you vote?
I mean,
Because
no,
I know we talked about it off camera, but it's a different story when the tape's rolling.
no, for sure. But in all honesty, bro, like I know this where I stand with all this politics
Mm-hmm.
stuff, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm more of a centrist
Centrist.
because
Yes.
I understand the value of both sides, bro. That's
Exactly.
essentially what created the country we live in today. But at the same time, there are certain things on both sides that need to be
Mm.
exploited and pointed out, and people need to fix.
Mm.
And so it's that's why I call myself a centrist, and that's why I like pay attention to certain things that
Mm-hmm.
happen on both sides, bro.
I heard this. I don't know if it was a theory or a quote or what, or somebody said it or I read it, but it was talking about how like because black people aren't a monolith. I think it has something to do with black people. I think that's what it was, and it was like different
Hmm.
sides of the coin on the political spectrum. And it was talking about how when people align with something naturally, right, even if
Hmm.
their social class isn't there, it's gonna catch up to meet it, and it's always like tied to social class. And like it had something to do with like political views and social class and how they're always similar. But I thought it was interesting. I think it's interesting you say that you're centrist. Like, I didn't expect that. I really didn't. And to
I
be
mean,
honest
like,
with you, I think
yeah.
I think I'm like that. I think I lean either way depending on top. It's kind of like what you said. I was gonna say
Hmm.
left, but I was like, nah. It just depends, like you said. Because a person of color, obviously, I'm gonna lean left on the things that impact, social, relations and stuff. But then when it comes to like money and certain ideologies, what I'm saying, more conservative, more right. But
Yeah.
I agree with you, man. It just depends. I think you just always need to kind of be in the state of learning, like you're saying.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Especially if you're growing. Like if you're trying to be alive, like you just need to you cannot you gotta adapt. I was explaining
No.
this to one of my friends the other day. I was like, you bro, like you have to change. You cannot be stubborn. It's moving
Mm-hmm.
too quick out here. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're shifting, my boy. But yeah,
See, the thing
centrist.
is, bro, like the thing that made me feel the way I feel about that in particular is just the fact that I noticed and realized, like, a this country is not necessarily a country. It's more,
Mm. You said
so
what?
like it's more of a business. So it's like
More of a
more.
business. Okay.
So people are gonna have their thoughts and ideas as far as to keep their businesses alive, keep their livelihoods
Yes.
alive, keep their pockets full, and all that stuff. So like you got to understand that part of it. But on the other
More of a
side,
capitalism is what you're saying.
in all honesty, bro, but like
That's true. Everything
but
is
like,
capitalized, to be honest with you.
in all reality, bro, like there still are undermining issues that need to be taken care of.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
like that's why I'm just like at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do to protect yourself and protect your loved ones, of course. Shout out. I wasn't even trying to do that, but shout out. But
Protect
at the
U.S.
same
park.
time, you need to realize what is necessary to be successful in this country.
Yeah.
So so
Yeah. That's true. That's facts.
hmm
Now, would you say, I'm gonna just throw a question in there randomly.
hmm
If money was no longer a pursuit of the human species, if currency was eliminated, do you think people would move differently? Do you think
absolutely,
that the underlying issues would be addressed?
absolutely, because like
Do you think they'd
the
be
reason
solved? Let's talk about that. Let's talk
not
about
necessarily
let's start with
solved.
one. Let's when you say underlying or underlying issues, what comes to your head first?
Well, I mean, we could talk about the most obvious one, with
Racism?
the racism and police
Okay.
brutality, shit like that, bro.
I'm
Like
down.
we're not gonna be able to talk about this country without not talking about the things that built, that this
Yeah, the
country
shit
is
that's
built.
going on. Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
shit going on. So
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, bro, you really got like that's why I say you got to pay attention because like I there's a lot of people say that a lot of people who say like defund the police and this and that blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
In all reality, like like we need policing. Like we
Well,
do.
yes. Defund the police. Do you understand what that term is? Because it's not. What's your understanding of the term defund the police? I'm gonna just ask you.
I mean, like I know it's just reallocating the
Yes,
funds.
reallocating. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
That's
okay.
that's that's all it is. But at the same time, a lot of people misinterpret that and
Yes, I see what you're
put it into
saying.
different
Yes,
categories and be
yes.
like, yeah, we don't need them. When at the end of the day, we absolutely do
Yeah.
because there's some crazy shit going on, and we need brave people to step up to the crazy shit on the most basic level.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we need to go in and like fix up the things that are like the undermining like just like because this country is built on things that a lot of people aren't willing to acknowledge. So
Yeah.
like now
Yep.
that we're getting to the point where people are really starting to acknowledge them,
Mm-hmm.
we need to really face the troops of this country. So like, and what I mean
Yeah.
is just like we need to face the fact that a lot of people have been held down financially just because of the color of their skin.
Yep.
We need to we need to face the fact that a lot of people are really being pointed out and exploited um, by just not agreeing with like the upper hand. And we
Mm-hmm.
also need to face the fact that
There's a fucking wealth gap that's the size of Antarctica. Come on now. What is this?
no, for real, like
94%
for
with
real, you're
trickle
absolutely
down
right.
economics bullshit. Yep.
No,
Yep.
for real, like so many things that a lot of people do not acknowledge that
Mm-hmm.
need to be acknowledged.
We need to talk
And
about it. Podcasting. Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, and that's why this shit like this makes a great platform for it because we'll sit down and we'll actually talk about it. But like when it comes to a higher into things, when we get to, real politics and politicians and shit, like they have
Platforms for
their,
them.
yeah, they have their nose in what they don't want to know. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
they know how they're gonna play the game, and,
Specialists. Yeah.
and it's
So let
just
me
unfortunate.
so let me ask you, do you think so if the whole idea of money was gone and these problems were addressed, do you think that humans could live peacefully? Because this is something I heard on the Joe Rogan podcast, like a month ago, and he was I forgot who he was talking to, but the question came up, and it was if humans solved all their problems and lived peacefully, would they create more problems to then like it was basically given like he was talking about like the nature of humans and how they're always trying to overcome something and how it always feels like humans as a species are always fighting a greater obstacle. And he was saying if there were no more obstacles, racism, all this crap, eliminated, complete peace. There's no money, there's nothing to worry about, there's no fighting. Would humans then create another obstacle? And I'm asking you this question because I asked somebody else, and well, I'll wait to hear your response first, and I'll tell you what he said.
In all honesty, bro, I feel like something else of value will replace money. I,
Hmm.
I don't like. It's just in human nature, and that's the unfortunate thing about it. We just need to have more awareness as a human race in order
Do
to
you
actually solve it.
do you think it'd be tangible, like a tangible thing that would literally take the place of money, or do you think it'd be something different?
I absolutely think it would be tangible, like
Mm.
because you got to think about the barter system. Like that
Yeah.
was created based off the fact that people didn't have money, and they needed to barter people and be like, "Yo, like I got this, this, and that. I'll trade you this, this, and that for this, this, and that." You feel me?
Right.
So it just
Goods
goes
and
on.
services.
That's why I say it's a human nature thing, and we need to be better as humans. We need to figure out like the best way to go about it in order to actually solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's gotten too far with the money, so it's we
Yeah.
just need to figure out a different tactic because we're
Inflation
not
like a motherfucker.
on on me.
Interesting. So you think that the whole money thing, the concept, is not going anywhere, and that's always going to be in the way.
Now, I'm not exactly saying that because there are things that can completely crush the economy,
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
But
Disease.
and
Yep. Yep.
but at the same time, we just got to be aware. That's really all I'm saying. Just being more aware and of like how this shit is just man-made and
Hmm.
how we really don't. I mean, like we need it, in this country. But my man, there are so many other things. There's so many other successful people
It's facts.
who have built their platforms, built their livelihoods. It had nothing to do with money. It just came along with the journey.
Mm-hmm. If the intentions are good and your heart is there, the money will come later.
Absolutely.
I've heard that so much. I haven't seen it yet, but hey, I'm gonna just keep
Hey,
on trucking.
yeah.
So I'm gonna give my political take real quick before we bounce.
You see, that's a different story. That's a different story.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
the money will come later. Yeah. So I didn't vote. I'm gonna just say that I did not vote. I lived in Oregon before I came up here amidst COVID, and so I had weird address issues going on. But I would have voted probably Biden, and I know that's hot. No, it's a hot take. It's not. It's not surprising. but uh, just the whole like political climate is a little too much. And I don't know if it's because I'm just more aware because I'm growing and like you're saying, constantly looking in and growing and doing all this other stuff, and you see more, and I think that's what
Yeah.
it is, or it's
Hmm.
actually just more crazy. Either way, whoever you voted for, congrats, you partook in your civic duty.
Yeah.
Uh, but there's only one winner, and we're gonna see where this guy takes us. All right, favorite rocket ship going to this. No, I'm just won't stop.
Hey, but one thing I want to touch on though about that though is just
Uh-huh.
like when Joe Rogan said something that was really, really touching to me because he was just simply saying like one thing he noticed when Trump was in office is that people dead ass sat here and just since they didn't like Trump, they wanted the whole country to go down and this and that, blah blah blah.
Mm,
And that's
yeah,
something that I never really connected. Like I don't fuck with Trump. I
I don't
really
either.
don't. I
To be
don't like
honest, I
his.
don't either.
I don't
Yeah.
like. I don't like how divisive he is and all that
Fuck
other
yeah.
stuff. You know, but like truthfully, there's a certain point where it was just like, bro, like we. I don't want the country to be terrible. You know, like I want the best for the country. You know, so like
Yeah.
that's why it's good. That's why I'm proud of the awareness of the country right now, because people are really starting to realize how like the bad
Trump
just
brought light. He brought
yeah,
light.
bro. It
He
brought
brought
light
vision. He
in
gave
a lot
all the
of
people
people.
of color vision. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,